All right, let's keep going. Hopefully what you're beginning to see is that you don't need me to keep reading this for you, right? From next lab on, you're gonna get your guided assignment document, open it up, and you can keep reading what I write, and you'll be ready to do the activities that way, right? But for now, let's continue to do this together. And most importantly, look at the, if you're like, no, I'm done listening to you reading for me, I'm gonna do this on my own, I'm gonna work through the assignment. If you're ready to do that, that's totally fine. You can skip the other videos, but please watch the last one, because that's when I'll talk about knitting and how you're gonna submit this, okay? I'm gonna describe an error that may happen, and I would like you to be aware of it and how to fix it, okay? All right, so let's keep going. Let me move myself out of the way, which always requires, yeah, okay. Let's talk about, we talked about numerical values, we talked about character values, and now we're going to talk about logical values. Variables or objects then can also contain logical values. A logical value is an assertion about whether something is true or false. This is implemented in R in a pretty straightforward way. There are two logical values, namely true, 1, and false, 0. Let me exemplify. Oops, full of typos. Please fix it on your thing. If I ask R to calculate 2 plus 2, it always gives the same answer. 2 plus 2 equals 4. If you do that again and again and again, let's do that. Doesn't matter how many times you do that, it will always come out to 4. We assume, therefore, when we see something like this, that it is true that 2 plus 2 is 4. When we write 2 plus 2, we're asking R to do the calculation, though. We're not asking R to explicitly test whether 2 plus 2 equals 4 is a true statement. But we can do that. If I want R to make an explicit judgment on that topic, I can use a command like this. 2 plus 2, 2 equal signs equal 4. So in here, I'm not assigning a value or anything. I'm trying to assess whether it is true that 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So if you click on the little arrow, you see that that's true. Play around with it. If you go and do 3, you'll be, no, false, right? So let's go back to 4. All right. What I've done here is use the equality operator, equal, to force R to make a true or false judgment. Note that the use of the double equal is important here. If we try to do this with a single equal sign, R won't do what we want it to do. Okay, let's ask R to assess a false statement, like we did up there. 2 plus 2 equals 5. It's going to say true. Oh, it's going to say false, right? 2 plus 2 is not equals to 5, sorry. We can modify this statement, though, to make it true. We can use the operator not true, which is in R is exclamation point equal, to make that statement true. 2 plus 2 not equal to 5. And there you go. That's a true statement. We can use other operators such as more than and less than. And here I'm creating two statements that are, one is true and one is false. See, 5 greater than 2 is a true statement. 2 smaller than 1 is a false statement. If I run, the first output here refers to the first expression, and it's true. And the second here refers to the second statement, which is false. Now let's do exercise 6. Suppose we have collected demographic data in a research study, and we have responses for one participant indicating that they identify as non-binary, but were assigned female gender at birth. Assign female to a variable called assigned gender, and assign non-binary to a variable called identified gender. I'll give you a few minutes, but you should stop the video actually, so that we don't use time in the video for this. Try out the exercise and then we'll work out the response. All right, so let's type out the response. Sorry if there are screams on the background. If I stop every time my daughter screams, I don't get this done. All right, quarantine time, COVID. Let's do it. So I'm asking you to assign female, which is a character value, to a variable called assigned gender. So let's do assigned gender. Again, if you're trying to create variables, don't leave space, and we don't leave space between these two things either, or it doesn't work. And let's call that variable female. Because it's a character, I'm putting square quotes. And I also need to create another variable called identified gender and assign and have the value non-binary. If you run this, you're creating the two variables. We don't see any output on the screen because if we're assigning values to variables, right? So we see them here on the workspace. Assign gender, female, identify gender, non-binary. All good? All right, if you want to print out, you should know by now that all you needed to do is to, just write the names of the variables right there. Oops, I did something off here. Let me undo. Copy, I'm copying and pasting. And then if you do that, you see the values down here. Okay, you're printing them on the screen. But this is not what the exercise asks you to do. It just asks you to create the variables, and they're stored here on the workspace. Now let's see exercise 7. It's only 9, okay? We're almost there, promise. Exercise 7. Create a variable, transgender. The name of the variable is transgender. That is true if assigned gender is different from identified gender. I'll give you a few minutes to think about it, but actually I'm not going to give you a few minutes. Oh my gosh. Press pause, try it out, and I will continue and give you the response here. All right, let's try this out. So what I need to do is set up, create a variable called transgender. So let's start there, transgender, which will be true if the assigned gender is not equal to, is different, not equal to identified gender. So we can basically say that. Let's do assigned gender not equal. Remember, the sign of not equal is the exclamation point and the equal sign. Is not equal to identified gender. Let's run it. We need, you can check yourself here. If I weren't here speaking at you, you could know if it's true because we're expecting this to create a variable transgender right here in the workspace. And the value that will be assigned to transgender in this case will be true because the assigned gender is different from identified gender in this case because the person is female and the identified gender is not female, it's non-binary, okay? Let's do it. So let's see, we have transgender here and it is true. So we got this right. You can also print the variable in the RMD document by simply typing transgender right there. All right, this is it for this video. We'll come back with vectors and matrices in a little bit. Okay, bye.